In the property management world, there are a few things that are considered essential. One of these things is insurance. However, there are various kinds of insurance like homeowners insurance, renters insurance, landlord insurance, property management insurance, the list goes on. And each of these cover different aspects of an investment property or a property management company. For some people though, the difference between homeowners insurance and landlord insurance can be confusing. So today I'll be explaining the difference between the two kinds of insurance. Welcome back, Loopers. My name is Sydney and I'm a content creator here at DoorLoop for the DoorLoop YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and hop right into today's video with the difference in coverage. The first notable difference between the two kinds of policies is where the insured actually resides. With homeowners insurance, the insured must reside alongside the tenant within the home. This means that the person paying for the insurance must be living on the actual property. However, with landlord insurance, the insured does not necessarily have to live in the insured home. The insured can reside either in the home, on the premises, or virtually anywhere else. This means that the insured can live anywhere, including the rental property. The next section covers damages that these insurance policies will protect against. Although your specific insurance company may have some different protections, they're all mostly the same. Both landlord and homeowners insurance actually cover the same things here, which are fire, lightning, wind, water, hail, and other covered events. These protections apply to the main building as well as any other structures that are part of the insurance policy. Next, let's talk about personal property coverage. With homeowners insurance, most of the property is covered for specific events. This includes furniture, clothing, or any electronics within the property. Insurance providers may dictate which events are protected under the policy, like fire, theft, or natural events. On the other hand, landlord insurance policies cover a different range of things. Landlord insurance coverage includes any items that are owned by the policy owner, but that are also used to service the rental property. This includes maintenance equipment, furniture, and appliances used by the tenants. When it comes to liability protection, there are some slight differences between the two kinds of insurance. With homeowners insurance, you're protected when you're responsible for the damage. This means it doesn't matter where the event occurred, you are protected if you were responsible for the damage. For landlord insurance, a liability insurance policy will cover the accidents that occurred on the rented premises. Since they occurred on your property, you are legally responsible for them and you are protected. When it comes to tenants' belongings, the two kinds of insurance are actually the same here. Neither landlord insurance nor homeowners insurance covers the tenant's belongings. For this reason, it's really recommended that renters invest in renters insurance. So now that we know the difference in coverage, let's go over the cost of these two policies compared to each other. Although many people relate any insurance to being very costly, it's not as bad as you may think. This is especially true when you compare it with the amount of money that it can save you. The annual cost of a homeowner's insurance policy is around $2,300. This means that it'll cost you around $200 a month for a full policy. This may sound like a lot of money, but it's really important to remember that this policy can save you thousands of dollars one day. However, the landlord insurance costs a little bit more. The national average sets landlord insurance 20% more than the price of a homeowner's policy. This is because the typical landlord policy covers more than the typical homeowner's policy, and therefore costs more. If you're worried about paying too much for insurance, there are some ways that you can reduce the price, and we're going to talk about that. Some of the ways to do this include maintaining the property. Well-maintained homes have fewer claims, which means that the insurance will be lower for those homes. So if you keep the property in good shape, there's a good chance that the price you'll pay for insurance is much lower. Prohibiting smoking. Smoking on the property increases the risk of property damage and also gives the property a unique smell. Include a section in your lease agreement outlawing smoking to protect against this. Requiring renters insurance. Another way to reduce the cost of insurance on your property is actually to require your tenants to carry their own renters insurance. This kind of insurance protects their personal property and provides liability coverage if the guests are injured on your property. Since there is no coverage for your tenants' personal belongings in the landlord policy, it is important to avoid litigation and require renters insurance. This way, if any of the tenant's belongings are damaged, regardless of whether it's your fault, you won't have to pay for it. Adding safety equipment. If the insurance company knows that the home is safe and secure, they may lower the price of the insurance. The best way to achieve this is by installing alarms, security cameras, and motion detectors all over the property. So how do you decide between homeowners insurance and landlord insurance? There are some unique situations where you could be confused on which insurance to get, so let's just go over it. First is when you're renting out a room in your home. If you're just renting out a room in your home, but you're still going to be living there, homeowners insurance may be completely fine. This means that you can skip the landlord insurance. The reason for this is that the landlord insurance is typically saved for the landlord's home and everything that is inside the home, including the tenants. But instead of protecting the tenants, homeowners insurance protects the homeowner. Thus, it should be suffice for renting out a room in your home. Next is when it's a short-term rental. If you're renting out a property for a short amount of time, there are some things to consider. If you're going to be living in the property all the time, then homeowners insurance will do just fine. However, if you're renting out a remote property, you may want to consider some form of landlord insurance. You may also want to consider some sort of short-term insurance to make sure every situation is covered. And lastly is when you're renting out the entire home. If you're completely moving out of the home and renting it out, a landlord insurance policy is a definite must. This policy will make sure the home structure and any other structures on the property are covered. It also extends coverage to anything kept on the property that is used to maintain it. This protection is small, however, to the liability coverage that a landlord policy includes. This coverage pays for legal fees, medical expenses, or court costs if an injury occurs. As you can tell, there are pretty big differences in homeowners versus landlord insurance, and it's important that you know which one you should have. So if this video helps you better understand, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, and make sure to check out this video on types of insurance that landlords or property managers should have, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!